Welcome back, everyone. Today I am joined by my friend Louise from the United Kingdom. Louise is a Sunday Times best-selling author, artist, foster carer, and the founder of Spark Sisterhood, an initiative dedicated to supporting girls living with the care system as they begin independent life. Having grown up in care herself, Louise has transformed her own experience into a mission to help others through her books, mentoring, and advocacy. Today, we will talk about resilience, overcoming adversity, fostering leadership, and how one person's story can change countless lives. Lucy, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Before you became an author, founder, and advocate, who was Louis? Tell us a little bit about your journey growing up.
Yes, right. Well, I was a child born in the late 60s to a teenage mother. My father was much older. He was married with his own family. And it later turned out, when I met him when he was 92, 2 years ago, that he had lots of spare children. He was what we call a paedophile. So he liked young girls, even though he was married and he had his own daughters. So I was a result of that. And then I got forced into an adoption. I was adopted by a family that really didn't want me and made it clear they didn't want me. But the adoption went ahead when I was 2. And then, long story short, after much abuse and neglect, I ran away at 15 and moved from Oxford, where I lived, to Portsmouth, where I just hung about for 2 years till I was old enough to go to art school. And the rest is history.
All right, cool. So, looking back today, what was the turning point that made you decide to turn your own experience into mission to help others?
I suppose it always was. Even when I was a child and I was suffering from my own abuse, I didn't fully understand was abuse. I was always supportive of what we call the underdog. So any other children that were being bullied or having a difficult time, I was always supportive of them. I was always very caring about people in the community. I think rather than turn it around, it grew through time that I realized that I was very wary around people who were bad. I had a good antennae, and I was very caring and considerate around people who needed support. And as time went on and I got more means and I learnt more skills and I had access to education and resources, I decided to help as many people as I could.
Okay. So, your books have touched thousands of people. Why was it so important for you to tell these stories?
Because without telling the stories, people will not know. Children and child abuse and terrible things that happen in all our cultures and all our countries largely go undisturbed because good people don't like talking about it. Whereas if I talk about it, and through talking about it, I give permission to be angry about it. And when people are angry about it, they can do something about it. So I inform people and tell a good story as well.
Okay. So, was there ever a moment when you thought about giving up? What kept you moving forward?
There have been plenty of moments when I've thought about giving up, and I think what keeps me going forward is that I realise that those moments are me being sorry for myself. So I feel pity for myself, and that is a bad emotion. So I talk to myself and tell myself to behave better, to work harder, and stop feeling sorry for myself. Self pity is a terrible thing, I think.
All right. So, you grew up in care yourself. Looking back now, what? Do you wish every adult understood about children growing up in the care system?
I wish I really wish they did, and they still do understand that children in care are innocent. It happened to them, and that they get punished just because of the situation they find themselves in. I also wish that people understood the basic philosophy of life, which is understanding each other's nervous systems. When we talk about a lot of money goes into talking about trauma and about behavior and a lot about the psychology, when actually, in fact, we need to go back a bit further and understand our own brains and understand children. Then we wouldn't have so many angry children and broken children, and they would be, because what's really important is that all the children that do not have a good start have a good access to what everyone else has, and then they will shine and they become good people on the whole.
All right. So you founded a Spark Sisterhood to support girls living care. What inspired you to create it, and what impact were you hoping to make?
Well, I didn't mean to start a charity, if I'm honest. I had plenty to do as a foster carer and a mum, and working full time as a writer and an illustrator. But I worked in a residential home for girls. I volunteered for 1 day a week to work with the girls to teach them about writing and life stories and painting, and just generally trying to spend time with them. And that finished, and then those girls timed out of residential care, and they became um, 16, and they one by one messaged me through social media politely, just saying hello. And then I realized that they weren't doing anything, that their lives had kind of gone into poverty. They were in despair, they were unfit, they were scared, they didn't know what to do, they were out of education. So I packed the back of my car up with a carrier bag of food for each girl, and I typed into my sat nav all their postcodes, and I drove round visiting them all and giving them a bag of food. And when I saw them, I couldn't believe what state they were in. So I felt that they had been abandoned by the care system who celebrated all the wonderful things they did with them while they were in care. But the moment they were 16, they just shoved them off and didn't get in contact with them again. And I thought that was extremely unfair. So I set up the charity to teach girls essential life skills, because a lot of them didn't even understand how to get on the bus to get to a meeting or an interview. A lot of them didn't know how to get a train card. A lot of them didn't know how to cook. A lot of them didn't know the basic fundamental things to being a okay human being in the contemporary world. So the charity was about teaching them skills and also getting them employment and jobs. So I worked with lots of employers to get them apprenticeships and get them from £3,500 a year, which isn't very much here, to £25,000 a year through training and jobs.
All right. How can ordinary people make a real difference in the lives of children and young adults who have experienced trauma?
Again, understand the nervous system. Don't judge children. I think what you'll find, the qualities of children who have been through trauma and through the care system, usually is they become very loyal. So if you're an employer, you will usually get a very loyal worker if you support a young person from care. I think there's a lot of negativity around children and people from care because we've never had a positive image, and I think that's deliberate. I think that the society likes to have a whipping boy, if you know what I mean, somebody to look down on. And I think it's very easy to look down on kids from care, just say, well, they grew up in care, that's why they're the way they are. I think employers just need to. What's interesting in England is that, and the UK, is that we base employment around qualifications. So apprenticeships, which are really important. Everyone thinks that you've got to have English and maths and all those sort of higher level skills to go into apprenticeships, and really good apprenticeships like engineering, construction. But when I went and spoke with employers, they said that's not true. They're looking for honest, hardworking, loyal people. They'll do the rest and bring them on. So that's it.
All right. So you have experienced both hardship and success. What does success mean to you today?
Success is the continuation of with the success I have of helping more young people, particularly girls, because I was a girl and it's extremely hard for women, girls and women to do anything. Really. So I just carry on. That is my success, having the means and the resources and the knowledge and the connections to carry on doing the work.
Okay. So, what's the biggest lessons life has taught you through everything you have been through?
Um, that we are responsible for ourselves first, that we that self-pity is a foolish emotion, that we are capable of more than we realize, and we are not what people tell us we are who we are. So we must not compare ourselves with anyone else. That's dangerous. We can only ever be ourselves, and we aim to be the best version of ourselves.
Okay. If someone watching this is going through one of the darkest periods of their life, so what would you want them to hear today?
I want them to know that even if they don't believe it, people love them, and that the most important person to love them is themselves, and that things do get better. Things always get better if you can find it in yourself to get up and do tomorrow. But we all have bad days, bad times in our lives. I've had many, and it's just the faith that we are powerful as people. We're very powerful, and to have a purpose, something to get up for is very important. Even if it's to grow a plant, it's something to get up for.
All right. Looking back at your journey, what are you the most proud of? And not professionally, but personally.
That I'm still here after everything that's happened to me. I'm still here, and I'm still I'm still learning. I'm a mother, and I look after lots of children, and I'm still learning. Every day is a school day, and I think that's important. That we no one ever knows it all, so I'm always love hearing from particularly young people. I find them inspiring.
All right. So before we wrap up, there are a lot of young people and teenagers watching this podcast who are trying to figure out their future. If you could give them one piece of advice that you truly believe will change their lives, and what will it be?
To do the work, to do the work with yourself. To sometimes it's good to be patient and to not compare your life with your friend or the person in the next village or town. You are you. You can only ever be you. So start with you and then understand yourself, understand what you're good at, understand what you don't like and what you're not good at. We're not good at everything, and find your journey that way. It's better to be content than no one is happy all the time. Happiness is a fleeting butterfly. If you can aim to be content and live with yourself honestly and help others, but live a good life, then that's good. And happiness will come, but it's not permanent. It's a butterfly.
All right. Lucy, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. It's been truly been an inspiring conversation, and I really appreciate you sharing your journey so openly. And thank you to everyone for watching. If this conversation resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. Someone who might be need to hear Louis' story. We will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening.